one word: confusion. Confusion, confusion, and more confusion. So I'm gonna tell you a personal gaslighting story. It's actually quite painful to talk about it still, because the extent at which these people will want to suppress you, to make themselves look good, to make themselves look right, is... I don't even have words. I don't even have words. But anyway, so basically what happened was that I broke my leg. At the time, I had my kids were small. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. This was definitely not a good time for me to have a broken leg with 2 babies under my care. As we left the hospital, you know, I had a feeling. I said to myself, you know what, you know, I knew, because my mother is a narcissist, and even though she calls herself the greatest empath on earth, I have never been at the end of that empathy. The only time that I've ever experienced anything kind from her was when there was people over, or when she bragged about something, when she wanted to show something off. But as soon as everybody was gone behind closed doors, it was just, you know, criticism, psychological abuse, physical abuse. It was emotional abuse, you know, guilt trips, parentification, infantilization. Like it was, and that was just the tip of the iceberg, because she was actually a very, very sick woman. You know, she was clearly really ill. She wasn't well. She couldn't function normally in society, and I actually tried to help her. I really did. I tried. But the problem was that I was her scapegoat. I was her target. So there was truly nothing that I could do. And when I would ask for help, they only enabled her. You know, here, have some ice cream, have some chocolate, tiptoe around her. Certainly never bring her to see a mental health professional. Certainly never help her, never try and help her to, you know, get out of that mindset that she was in. You know, nobody ever bothered to do anything about it. And I was just a kid. I was alone, you know, as I grew up in that kind of environment. So I knew, you know, this woman was not going to help me, but I tried. You know, we came out of the hospital. You know, my husband helped me into the car. I was in the back seat. My leg was elevated. The kids were in the car as well. You know, and instead of going home, we drove to my parents' house to ask for help. I hopped in. I sat down, elevated my leg, and I freaked out. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I have 2 babies. My husband can't take more than 2 weeks off of work, you know. What are we gonna do? How am I gonna take care of them? I was freaking out. I was absolutely panicking. I was panicking. And of course, that was my mistake, you know, showing too much emotion, not having that thank you for having me come over, Mother. I'm so grateful for you. That was how I was always expected to behave around her. But you know, I was freaking out. There wasn't a lot of pain. I had 2 babies and I didn't know what to do. I asked for help. But of course, the whole thing was turned around pretty quickly. The conversation became about her victimhood. It became about her suffering. You always bring problems into this house, right? It was always about the problems that I bring to this house. It was about my tone of voice. It was about my facial expression. It was about my emotions. The whole conversation zoomed in on how my character makes her suffer. My facial expressions are ungrateful. You know, my emotions are making her suffer. Everything about me makes this woman suffer. You know, I had a broken leg. I really needed a mother. I really was hoping to gosh, I still imagine sometimes what it would have been like to have a mom. I gotta pause this for a second, but I gotta tell you guys how it must be, how amazing it would have been to have a mom that, like, don't worry, I got you. I know you're upset, sweetie, but I got you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to be there for you. Look, I'll come over. I'll help you with your babies. Don't you worry. It's like a fantasy, you know? It's a dream for me to have a mother that's, you know, that's level-headed and that empathetic to me, to what I'm going through. But that was not the case. I ran out of that house. No, I didn't run out. I hopped out of that house crying. My husband helped me in the car. We strapped the kids into the back seats and drove home, and I cried the whole ride home. And I said to myself, you know what? They're not gonna come. They're not gonna help, and I shouldn't have come. And for about 2 weeks, you know, my husband managed, this was before COVID, but he managed to be able to work from home for a little bit. And he was juggling working from home and taking care of a toddler while I had the baby beside me on the couch. I couldn't make food, I couldn't prepare the milk, I couldn't watch my toddler. For about a good month, you know, I think it was a bit more actually, like I couldn't get up. No phone call, nobody came, nothing, we were on our own. And then, about 2 weeks later, I received a phone call from my father. And the phone call went like this. Listen, your mother was giving your cat flea medication. You know those little tubes that you put in the back of the neck of the cat? Yeah, we opened it wrong. We can't get the damn thing open. How do you open that flea tube? As my father was talking, you know, my toddler was running in the background. My husband was working on the computer. It was pretty chaotic because I couldn't get up to tend to my toddler, so the baby was right beside me, and meanwhile my dad was talking about this damn flea tube, you know, how to open the damn tube, and I could hear my mother in the background laughing. So silly of me that I cut that thing open wrong. I got so angry, guys. I got so angry. I was like, you're calling me. I've been alone here with your grandchildren, no help, unable to get out of bed, and you're calling me about a flea, about fleas, about a flea tube that you can't give to your damn cat? Really? Really? I got so angry. I got in, and you know, and then the fight started. It escalated. The whole thing turned into a huge fight. So I hung up the phone, and then I went no contact for the first time. And a year later, my father pulled me back in, you know. He pulled me back in. He got into contact with me, and then he told me, come back, you know, I'll watch how she behaves around you. And throughout conversations, family conversations, her story became that I rejected her help. I rejected. She offered the help and I rejected it. She offered the help and I rejected it. Guys, yes, Mom, I was on the couch with 2 babies under my care, but I rejected your help. You know, that this is like one of those gaslighting stories that still till this day, you know, they do this, you know. This is what they do. They make you, they will outcast you. They will, even when you're the one who's hurt, when you're the one with the broken leg, you're the one who needs help, they will still find a way to make themselves out to be the victims. They will still make themselves out to be the victims. Even when you're the one, they will gaslight you. Oh, I didn't help you because you rejected me. Oh, I didn't help you because you did this and this. Oh, I wasn't there for you because you did this and that. Okay, this is, you're like, as a scapegoat, if you're in a situation or another and you're already suffering with whatever, and your narcissistic parent will add trauma on top of your trauma. They will add trauma on top of your trauma. And so you're taught, you know, and then of course the whole family jumped in on that, eh? Well, you know, you do have a character and so on. It's just not possible for a scapegoat that grows up in such a family system to develop, you know, to connect with their own feelings, to connect with their body, to connect with their emotions, to connect with their inner world, because you're not allowed to do that. If you connect with your inner world, if you get angry, if you show emotion, if you do any sort of self-discovery that completely deviates from what the narcissistic parents from you, you are demonized from that. And so what happens when you're gaslighted? You don't even trust yourself. You know, you don't trust yourself, and then you get confused, and then like, did I, you know, am I the one? Is it me? Did that really happen? And then your body's giving you messages, eh? You'll feel disgust, you'll feel confusion, and disgust is a big one, by the way. After a while, when I was around my narcissistic mother, I just felt disgust. My body was like, oh my God, get away. And those are important messages that your body sends you. But, you know, you don't learn that you can actually, your body, you know, that your body sends you important messages, you don't learn that you can actually listen to your body and validate yourself, because you're gaslighted so much in these types of systems. You're completely out of touch with yourself, with how you feel, with who you are. And the whole system is constantly telling you that everything that you feel doesn't matter, that you're wrong, that didn't happen the way it happened. The system is constantly dumbing down your experiences. Oh, it's the culture, it's your character, it's the culture. Oh, well, that didn't happen that way. I cared for my father very much, and I was always kind of trying to maintain a relationship with him, even though he was an enabler. And I will do a different video later on about enablers, because enablers, they're not on your side. They will betray you. If anybody, people that will see the abuse, people saw what the narcissistic parent was doing to you, and they enabled that behavior, they will be the first ones to say, oh, but look, she worries about you, she cares about you, I'm just calling to let you know that she cares about you, it's a message. And I'd be like, how come she's not calling me herself? Well, she doesn't have to call you, I'm calling you, that's enough. That's literally what my dad would tell me throughout the years of intermittent silent treatments that I would get from that woman. Oh, well, she cares about you, look, I'm calling to inform you that she cares about you. That's the stuff that keeps you in the system, eh? But anyways, enablers, that's another that will be another video. But so you're taught not to trust yourself by your family system, even when you are in pain, something happened to you, you need help. They will just, they will always add trauma on top of your trauma when you come from a narcissistic family system. And then they will gaslight you into believing that their favors negate abuse. They're going to gaslight you into believing that the nice things they did for you are enough for you to ignore your own pain, and for you to ignore your own body, and that you're not normal for feeling pain from the abuses and the lack of love from your parent. It's not normal for you to feel like that because they did such nice favors for you, and therefore you're not supposed to feel what you feel. That's all gaslighting, guys. That's all gaslighting, and the enablers play a huge part in keeping the scapegoat trapped in the narcissistic family system. I have personal rules for living now. And gaslighting, like, if I feel confused about a relationship, if I have any sort of confusion, then I'm gone, and I don't care. It's I don't care what explanations. I am not going to weave into that thorned bush. So she said, he said, I said, you said, they said. This is no. In a healthy relationship, you have consistent behavior. Okay, consistency. People don't bring you through roller coasters. Okay, and there's no confusion. You have to look at people's patterns. If somebody always sort of behaves the same way, okay, well, this is who they are. But if you have a person, it's more like one day she'll text you, you guys make plans, but then you call in sick and you say, hey, actually I can't make it today because I feel sick. Then all of a sudden there's no response, there's no text. This actually happened to me. Hey, I gotta cancel the plans, and then there's no response, there's no text, there's no call. You try and reach them, they ignore you. But then a week later, they see you at a separate event or something like that, and hey, let's hang out. And it's like up and down roller coaster. If you it's just not stable. It's sort of feels it's not consistent. If it's not consistent, and if you're confused, it's really important that you pay attention to those signs, because confusion is, like, to me, that's like the biggest red flag of any relationship. If you feel confused, trust yourself, trust your body's response, trust how you feel. You've been taught that you can't trust yourself because you've been raised in an environment where you always have to look to what the narcissistic parents is saying or doing. Everybody's telling you, oh, it's all about the narcissistic parent and it's never about you. You're raised like this. So when you grow up, you feel that in all your relationships. You doubt yourself, you doubt your experiences, you doubt your memory, you doubt your ability to reason. You feel isolated, you feel like nobody believes or understands you. And one big thing also was for us scapegoats is that we constantly feel the need to prove our reality to others. And this is something that you have to watch out for. You don't have to constantly prove your reality to others. So when you're gaslighted, you, by your entire family system, you disconnect from yourself. You don't know, you never learn to validate yourself. You don't know, you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust your own feelings. And you constantly looking for this validation from others because you don't know how to validate yourself. So I gotta tell you, first of all, the mantra that I mentioned in my previous video, it stands for gaslighting as well. I love myself, I trust myself. I love myself, I trust myself. I love myself, I trust myself. Repeat, 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 okay? You gotta repeat that. You gotta learn that, when your body sends you these feelings that something's wrong, listen. When you feel confused, that's a sign. You gotta listen to that. If you're confused, listen to that, okay? Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your own ability to reason. Don't doubt your own ability to detect someone who's not healthy for you, okay? It's really important that you learn to trust yourself and trust your body. Really start paying attention to the messages that your body is sending you. And like I said, disgust, that's a huge sign. If you feel disgust around a person, disgust is an emotion. It says danger, toxic, poison. Do not come near this person. That's what disgust is. So disgust is a huge sign that you can pay attention to trust yourself, right? Trust your body's ability to let you know that something is wrong. And then of course your brain will interfere, okay? Your brain will go, oh, and then you're going to start to ruminate about this and ruminate about that and ruminate about the situation, ruminate about the friendship. We ruminate because we want to solve something that we can't solve. And sometimes you can't solve. When somebody gaslights you, they gaslight you because they want to have power over you. They want to keep you in control. And most importantly, it's about power. It's about their power position in the relationship. Okay? Somebody who gaslights you is somebody who cares more about being right. No matter what the cost to you, to your mental health. They would rather be right than be honest with you. They rather make their friend or their family member feel like they are crazy, like they can't trust their own memories. They rather you go through that than to admit that they made a mistake, that they did something wrong, and to say sorry, sorry, I'm sorry, I overreacted, Somebody who gaslights you is somebody who does not care about you. It's somebody who cares about their self-image. It's somebody who doesn't want to lose control, It's somebody who wants to keep a higher position, a power position over you. And they will make you feel crazy because that's what they choose. They choose to make another person feel like there's something wrong with the way that their own mind works, rather than admitting to the truth. So guys, if you feel confusion, run. If you are in a relationship that has ups and downs, I love you, silent treatment, I love you, psychological abuse, oh, I care about you, more abuse, ignoring your texts, I'm here, I'm gone, I'm here, I'm gone, I'm here, I'm gone, that kind of thing. That's don't stick around. Don't stick around. It's not good for you. If you feel confused, rather you trust yourself than to get intertwined in another, unhealthy relationship where you'll end up getting hurt and where you will continue to doubt your own ability to reason, okay? So remember this. I love myself. I trust myself. That's the most important thing that you can do for yourself as the scapegoat of a family system, is to learn to trust yourself and to be stubborn with how you trust yourself. Okay, I'm not saying that you can't have other people's input. Sure, I mean, memory is funny sometimes. That can happen. But if you're always feeling like your reality, like if it's something that it's a pattern, like every time something happens, it's always all your fault. Every time something happens, you know, you get a silent treatment. You get punished, right? When you get punished, you always get punished, and then you're the one suffering. You're the one who's punished. You're the one who's abandoned, but they're the victims. They're the victims. You know, you're the one who's going through stuff. You're the one who needs help. You're the one who needs a little bit of attention for once. You know, no, they're not gonna let that happen. They're the victim. They're gonna turn that around. They're gonna make sure that the whole world knows that they are the victims, and you will end up alone, and you will not receive any help or validation or love from these types of relationships. Interesting animal. But anyways, so that's it, guys. So remember, you know, that's my take on gaslighting and my experience. Please do take a look at the information I'm going to put below this video. I have a lot of articles that I publish about narcissistic abuse, well, also about personal development, really, because there comes a point where we need to really start to focus on ourselves and put that toxic world behind us, and that's what I'm all about right now. So take a look at my stuff, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that this brings you a little bit of sanity, and that it validates how you feel. And you know, I don't want to be the one to validate you. You gotta do that by yourself. I love myself. I trust myself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself.